Welcome to the Noisy Composer. Today we're going to start a new project, and I want to focus on mixing. But right now I have a lot of students who don't own a Macintosh, so therefore Audacity is great. It's open source, which means it's free. So therefore you want to go to the Audacity website and download it from there. So don't pay for it anywhere. And it does a lot of really cool things. The one thing about Audacity is that it does a lot of destructive edits, which means that you make choices and move on. I personally find that liberating because you can't continue mixing it forever. But generally speaking, Audacity is a really great program, but I don't use it as much. And so therefore, I'm looking forward to digging into it with you guys. Okay, let's get started. So I'm looking at Audacity 2.2.3. So it's quite a bit down the road from the last time I worked on it. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about organizing and getting a session set up. So first thing you want to do is you want to go to Preferences, and you want to check your devices. So therefore, do you recognize, if I'm working on my laptop and I don't have an interface plugged in, then maybe I'll use built-in output. If I do have an interface plugged in, then you want to make sure that it's selected so you can use it. And if I'm recording, I'm not right now, but if I'm recording to Audacity, then I would want to change it to my Scarlett interface. If I were recording and doing overdubs, then I would worry about the buffer length, because that is about latency, where you record your voice or whatever instrument you're working on, and it goes through the processing of the computer, and when it comes back, if you're listening to it, there's a delay time, and that's called latency. So therefore, you want the buffer length or the buffer size to be small, so that it'll go through the computer and back to your ears again fast. Now, I'm not doing any recording today, so I don't really need to worry about the buffer length. I'm not synchronizing with the computer. Are there other things I need to think about? So the sample rate is 44.1, which is CD quality, and the bit depth is set to 24. This is kind of like a snapshot of how fast the computer takes pictures of frequencies, and so therefore it captures them all. And then the bit depth is more for the dynamic range. 16-bit is usually for CDs, but 24-bit is better because when you have it's more gradations. And in a sense, what it's really doing is it's opening up the range so that the noise floor is much lower. That's set up. Okay, now that the session is ready to go, the next thing you want to do is you want to import stems. Stems stands for stereo masters. And if you're going to import stems, you may want to check the settings of these stems to make sure that your stems and the software are set up the same way. So I'm going to do Command I, and I'm going to look and see, okay, this kick drum is 44.1 and 24, the bit depth is at 24. So therefore, these stems are set up with the same sample rate and bit depth as our session. So what we want to do is we want to import the audio. Now what you can do is either go to File, Import, and select Audio, and you'll be able to pull from the menu, or you can just drag and drop. Right now I'm just going to drag and drop these 4 tracks. They're drum tracks, and we'll go ahead and get this all organized. Okay, so we have kick drum, snare, overhead, and this says drum room. Generally, when we're organizing, the first thing you want to do is you want to label your tracks. Now, these tracks are labeled. If you want to relabel them, or if you want to label them, you can just click on this down arrow and type in name. and put in something. I'll just put kick 1, just for fun. Okay, so, and we'll organize that later. In a different session, I'm doing something else. Okay, now, in addition to that, sometimes there are icons. In Audacity, the mixing board is here. And what happens, you got these sweet little, look at that, it's cute. We got these little icons. It looks like a bass drum and a snare. And overheads are the mixing board, and we got a drum room. It's really darling. Anyways, so we can label it. We have the icons, and then you can group them, which is I will look into for Audacity, see if we can group things, and then color. Now, in Logic, say there's a really extensive color palette that you can use to color different things. Here, what we can do is we can set up to 4 different colors. So in kick drum 1, we can go to wave color 1, which is blue. So it looks like all of them are set to instrument 1. So then snare 2, we can go to wave color 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. All right. And we're good to go. Let's look at the mixing board again, and let's hear this. All right, so I'm going to hit play. You can also do spacebar to play it. And there's this mammoth amount of time we're waiting, so I'll fast forward that. Here we go. We can mute the tracks. We can bring them in one at a time. So let's listen to the kick drum. Let's add the snare. Overhead. And the room. We can also solo it. So I just want to hear the room. Oh, that room. No. So we can pull that down. So there's levels. Okay. And then we can blend it that way. So we're going to continue working on different types of techniques to mix this, but this is a basic overview of organizing the tracks, where the mixer is, and how to set some levels. So the last thing you want to do is export or bounce. Now, I know we haven't finished mixing yet, but I'm going to do it now so that you know what to do. So what I want to do is go to, we can close this or leave it open. We can go to File, Export, and we can export it as a WAV file or MP3. MP3 is a compressed file, or they call it lossless. Lossy, which means it's compressed, or WAV file, which is lossless or uncompressed. So let's do uncompressed. And then, of course, every time you save something, you want name and location. So I'm going to call this, drum mix 1. And I'm going to drop it on I'll put it on my desktop. Boom. Okay, so it's name, location, and the type, and I'm going to bounce it. Your tracks will be mixed down, exported to one stereo file. I like that. Okay. Oh, low metadata. Okay, and that's it. And it's exported. So now, a few things on my desktop. Quite a few things on my desktop. And so therefore it's all, what's the word? Messy. Okay, I found it. And I'm going to open it up in QuickTime, bring it over, and play it for you. Here we go. We got this silence here. There we go. Okay, so that's it. That's how you import audio, quick mix, and then export audio. Okay, thank you.